Hi, my name is Samantha Garza, and today I'll be presenting my research on how adverse childhood experiences, also known as ACEs, impact cognitive development during middle childhood. Middle childhood is the stage of development that typically occurs between the ages of 6 and 12 years old, roughly elementary school years. Specifically, I'll be focusing on how these experiences affect memory, attention, problem solving, and even academic performance in children. So first of all, what are ACEs? ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences, refer to stressful or traumatic events that occur during childhood. These can include different types of abuse, whether it be physical, emotional, or sexual, neglect, or growing up in a household with challenges like substance abuse or domestic violence. These experiences are important to study because they can have long term effects on child's brain development and overall functioning. My research focuses on children in middle childhood, typically between ages 6 and 12 years old. This is a critical period in cognitive development in children. I specifically looked at how ACEs impact memory, attention, problem solving, and academic performance, which are skills that are essential for success in everyday life and in school. One important term that comes up in this research a lot is executive functioning. Executive functioning refers to mental processes that help us control our behavior, focus our attention a little bit better, remember information, and solve problems. These skills are largely managed by brain's prefrontal cortex and are essential for learning and decision making. Several studies I researched found that children exposed to ASICs often struggle with memory and attention. For example, research by Hostiner and colleagues showed lower working memory and difficulty controlling attention. Similarly, Iverson and colleagues found that children with ASICs exposure report more difficulty concentrating and trouble retaining information, which directly will impact them in the classroom and learning in general. ACEs majorly impact problem solving skills. So, studies like those by Johnson and Kaya found that children exposed to adversities often have reduced cognitive flexibility. This means that they will struggle to adapt to new situations, such as changes in their schedule or having to deal with new people in their lives, thinking through problems, and even making decisions effectively. These challenges can make both schoolwork and everyday tasks more difficult for children. Research also shows that ACEs impact brain development itself. Chronic stress affects the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for executive functioning. One study discussed how ACEs can distribute brain derived neurotrophic factors, or BDNF, which is a protein in the brain that supports the growth, survival, and function of brain cells, also known as neurons, and these play a huge role in learning and memory. These biological changes help explain why cognitive difficulties occur in children. When you combine difficulties in memory, attention, problem solving, it directly impacts academic performance in children. A systemic review by Lund and colleagues found that children with ACEs often struggle with schoolwork, planning, and completing tasks, which can lower academic achievement overall. In the grand scheme of things, this research shows a clear pattern. Adverse childhood experiences are strongly linked to cognitive challenges. These challenges affect how children learn, behave, and succeed in school, and they can have long term effects if not addressed. In conclusion, ACEs have a significant impact on cognitive development during middle childhood. They affect memory, attention, problem solving, and academic performance, which can affect the child greatly. Understanding these effects is important so that educators, families, and professionals can provide early support and intervention to help children succeed despite these challenges.